Today, I want to talk about reincarnation, especially with regard to mediumship, because that's the point of this channel. I grew up believing in reincarnation. I still believe in reincarnation, not exactly like most Westerners do, but the general concept of coming here into this physical reality more than once. And so when I first began engaging in mediumship, I had to question a lot of things. And as I was wondering about the mechanics of mediumship, because I was receiving readings before I was giving readings, that's partially what got me interested, or got me to pursue this. So I was thinking about, how are they doing this? They being mediums, right? I didn't think of myself as a medium at the time. How is this happening? And so I wonder, and I could do a whole video on this, but I'm not going to. I wonder if we receive consciousness rather than having consciousness being housed in our brains. I'm leaning more toward the receive, that our brains receive consciousness, receive our memories, receive our ideas, than that they're housed there in our brains. And I think the parts of our brains where we think they are housed are actually the processing centers that receive the reception of whatever that is, whatever thought is, whatever consciousness is. And so there's that. And then also, many people, if you believe in reincarnation, most people think that there's this, whether we're receiving consciousness or if it's one soul in a body at a time, is that a one-to-one relationship, one soul, one body, or is it a many-to-one relationship? Especially if we're receiving consciousness and I'm expressing as Lawrence in this life. Is that just one greater consciousness that's a bigger Lawrence, say, and I'm expressing it as this individual, or are there many of us expressing as this individual? I'm not sure about that yet. I'm wondering, and I'll have to look into this more, and maybe someday in the future there'll be a video. I wonder if we're not more communal than we realize. That's a possibility. I do believe that all of our lifetimes are simultaneous, and that our attention is focused on this life, the one you're watching this video on. This is where your attention is focused, but I think that all of our lives happen simultaneously. So I don't think of past lives, I think of other lives. That's why I differ a little bit from a lot of Westerners. I don't believe in past lives, I believe in other lives, that they're all happening now. And most Westerners, however they come to believing in reincarnation, I've noticed that they tend to believe there's one soul and one life after another, and that those lives are sequential. And I just think it's more complicated than that. So I've already talked in another video about how I believe I'm part of this group where there's overlap, where some of us are in spirit, some of us are here physically, and we trade back and forth, and there's a little bit of overlap both ways, and we help each other out. So that certainly can't happen without the idea of reincarnation. And also, even if I hadn't grown up believing in reincarnation, I believe I would have come to that as an adult, because there are people that I clicked with instantly, and instantly clicked with deeply, powerfully. And at this point in my life, I've been in relationships with those people for decades. So it's just a concept that makes sense to me. Charlie Kelly does a really good, the medium Charlie Kelly does a really good explanation of his belief about reincarnation. He holds up a Rubik's Cube and points to one of the tiny little squares on one of the sides of the cube and says, the whole thing is you, but this one little tiny square on this side is the physical you now. It's one little aspect of you. And that's what mediums are connecting with when they connect with someone in spirit. So I guess the most important thing I want to say about reincarnation is that both things can be true. Reincarnation and mediumship can both be true at the same time. And so when you go to a medium and they cannot connect with someone, or if you are a medium and you cannot connect with someone, I don't believe that that means that they've been reincarnated or that they aren't even available because they're off busy doing something else at the time. I don't think it means that they're not there. I think it's the medium simply isn't connecting. I've talked about also in other videos how I've connected several times with court reporters. That's such a weirdly unique experience, court reporting, and the coded text that you have to learn how to read or write to work in that industry. And so I think when a medium doesn't connect with someone, there's a lack of, I think it can be a lack of similarity, but I think when someone connects really well, you can tell that there are similarities of experience between the medium and the person they've connected to. So I don't believe reincarnation prevents mediumship from happening. I do think a soul can reincarnate. Like I said, I think all of our lives are happening simultaneously. It's a very complicated subject. And I guess just the point of this very short video is to say that I think you can believe in both things at the same time, that they are not mutually exclusive. Because I could go on for more than an hour just on several of the points that I've already spoken about. So maybe I'll do a longer video on that, but both things are possible simultaneously. What I want to talk about next week is for me, and I wonder about some of you if there's not. For me, I've noticed a Reiki connection. I actually began doing Reiki first. I've only done Reiki level 1 and 2, and definitely there's a connection for me, or a similarity, or some thing happening that is connected to Reiki, doing Reiki for people, and mediumship. There's definitely some kind of connection there. And I've heard other people say, no, there's absolutely not. But anyway, we'll talk about that more in the next video. I know it feels a little bit disjointed. I'm sorry. I'm recovering from major surgery right now. So that might be part of why I seem a little bit out of it. But I will be back next week. I'm going to do one of these a week, come hell or high waters. So I will see you then. Please leave your comments or questions below, and I'll try and do a video about whatever you ask about. Thank you.